In this video, we will be talking about and tasting the most recent arrival of Lishan High Mountain Oolong Tea Winter 2020 harvest. So here we are tasting our second batch of the Shan High Mountain Oolong from the Winter 2020 harvest. And this batch is simply a different day from our first batch that we sourced back in October 2020. And I remember that this day was earlier, just a few days before the batch that we picked. But the leaves were slightly larger than the batch that we picked. And now that I'm looking at them again, they're not overly large at all. That's some of the biggest leaf growth in this particular brew. It's got a nice thickness to it, but it's definitely new growth. And leaves get bigger than that for sure. Probably at this elevation, getting toward winter, they wouldn't get much bigger. But there are definitely less than mature leaves in here. The stems are not overly large. Just substantial growth due to the slightly slower growing season. Colder nights create a substance in the leaves that winter tea is renowned for, basically. This batch has a deep, mellow, mild kind of character to it, buttery and mild savory herbs and some forestiness. I've already had the first few brews. I think this is number 4. Yeah, incredibly balanced. Nice fresh quality there too. Enough kind of brightness to the overall flavor profile to put it well into the high elevation High Mountain Oolong category. A little more oxidation than the standard here in Taiwan. Particularly at the highest elevations, they like to keep it really green conventionally, although that's changing in recent years, and we're kind of happy about that. We're fans of slightly more oxidation, bringing some of those high notes down, but adding body and more stability to the leaves. They won't lose their freshness as easily as when they are very lightly oxidized. So yeah, pretty classic winter stock from our regular farm, and like I said, just a few days before the first batch that we just recently sold out of, and we're very surprised that our source still had some available. And the only reason they do really is because they keep some for themselves for retail sales, and were nice enough to offer us a small amount upon request. But normally, in general, what tea makers do is they sell their produce within a couple of weeks of the harvest, unless they are catering to retail customers. Let's try it again. The other reason is this particular source goes to a lot of trade shows in China, and this year obviously couldn't go at all. So even though they probably cut down the amount of tea that they kept on hand, before they could send it, but now there is no shipping whatsoever. So I believe that's another factor of why we are able to source Lishan High Mountain Oolong at this time of year, late January, February 2021. I'm going to go ahead and taste the 6th brew here that was left to sit for a while. Still very balanced. Wow, that's an amazing consistency there. Nice mouthfeel, very soft, smooth texture, mellow character. Buttered pastry. I'm gonna go one more on the late brew. I'm not gonna fit that in my cup. Let's taste this now. This is the combination of all the brews, 1 through 5. Mellow herbal quality with this kind of smooth texture undertone to it. Foresty, mild, savory herbs. Very satisfying. The brew itself, this is a late brew and it's still quite bright. Golden yellow, slightly greenish hue. Classic high elevation tea from Taiwan. And the dried leaves look uniform. No real significant variation of color. The size reflects what we see here more obviously in the brewed leaves, that the growth was fairly uniform as well. So, good quality Lishan High Mountain Oolong available at this time of year. We're stoked to have some and let us be able to offer it a little bit longer into the season. There'll still be months to come before this tea is harvested in late spring 2021. Check it out. You can go to our website, click on Unroasted Oolong Tea, and you will find Lishan at the top of the page. If you haven't already, please click like and share this video with anyone that you think might be interested in hearing about this kind of stuff. See you next time.